Sometimes I feel like I am a candle in a pitch-black room, an insignificant object in an unforgiving environment, too small and feeble to properly illuminate its surroundings. It's an inelegant metaphor, but it rings true to me. I've collected Christian pamphlets and things for ages. It's a bit of a novelty, I suppose. Usually it's lonely-looking men giving them out on the street, and I feel a bit bad for them, and I take what they give. I know there's nothing worse than a smug atheist, but I can't find any hope in that sort of shit. The last time I prayed was 3 years ago, after a cousin I was close to was hit by a car. She was the kindest person you could hope to meet, and a devout Christian. She got T-boned by a drunk driver and went into a coma. That night I prayed for her. It felt fake and awkward and performative, but I did it anyway. I didn't believe in God, but she did, and I thought that if he would show anyone mercy, it would be her. She never woke up. Unsurprisingly, I never prayed again. I still remember the terrible feeling in my gut when I saw the Abu Ghraib photos. That's a strange thing for me to say since I'm not an American, and I would have only been about 5 years old at the time. Unfortunately, my high school history teacher mentioned it in passing in class one time, and I felt a morbid compulsion to look it up. It certainly isn't the most graphic collection of photos you can find online, but I felt nauseous. I was disgusted that people who no doubt believed themselves to be righteous could degrade other human beings like this. It wasn't just disgust though, it was fear. I had nightmares that night where I imagined I was a prisoner in that camp. I imagined that I was beaten and sodomized and smeared with human shit like those other prisoners were, that I was violated on every level. I didn't even try to sleep the night after. My fear of the human being hits a bit closer to home, too. Most nights before I go to bed, I stare at the streetlight outside my window. It gives me comfort. There are horrible things out there in the dark, and were that streetlight to fizzle out, who knows what could happen. It's a bad area where I live, wrong side of the tracks. The woman who lived across the road from me had to go to jail after she snapped one of her baby's arms like a twig because it was crying too much. I think there's too many people like her in the world for comfort. I'm afraid of my friends too, in a way. I'm aware of the precariousness of all my human connections, and I live in a perpetual fear that one day they could break and I would be left adrift like a lone lifeboat in a vast ocean. Equally, I'm aware of the fact that I am completely dependent on other people. If I were to lose them, I don't know what I'd do. The irony isn't lost on me that my sanity is entirely reliant on people who I do not wholly trust, and sometimes struggle to understand. There are times where I fantasize about wiping the slate clean and abandoning everyone I know. I imagine burning birthday cards and photographs, purging any proof there is of how much my life depends on the whims of others. If my fear is that they'll abandon me anyway, why not get a head start and have control over how it happens? I suspect I'll live with these fears for the rest of my life. In our time on this earth, there are tensions that are entirely unresolvable, and we either live with them or they break us. These days, most things frighten me, and I must make peace with that.